Okay, so we are chapter 6, part 2 from the book Seeds of Happiness. Suddenly, you find yourself alone. No one wants to stay alongside a person who thinks only of himself. All human beings are self centered. Thus, whether they are conscious of it or not, they think of themselves first. Since we are human, it can't be helped if we think of ourselves first and foremost. But if you think only of yourself, the people around you will move away little by little until you find yourself isolated and alone. Once I was having dinner with a department head at a major company, and this is what he said: I'm much better at my job than most people. I started to succeed early on and was able to buy myself a condominium at a young age. I've managed to save a fair amount of money over the years, but somehow I feel lonely. Why is that since things have gone so well for you? I asked. I've worked very hard at putting forth new ideas and managed to push through various projects. Yet, though there are those who are envious and jealous of me, I have no colleagues who share my burdens and rejoice with me in my successes. I've had to do it all myself. The department head must have been rather drunk when he said this, and it was clear he was saying what he really felt. His work had gone well, but he felt emotionally unsatisfied. He had raced to the top ahead of everyone, and now he found himself isolated and alone. Then the department head spoke at very great length about all he had gone through up to that point. When I first joined the company, I worked as hard as possible, even cutting back on sleep. I practiced golf in my free time, not because I liked it, but because it was important as a way of entertaining customers. I fought with narrow minded superiors until I brought them around and was able to push through innovative projects. If a customer complained about something, I took the responsibility and went and humbly apologized on the company's behalf. In fact, the whole department as it exists today is pretty much my creation. It really seemed as if he had put twice as much effort into the company as anybody else, but I couldn't help noticing that no one apart from him made an appearance in his account of things. Everything was about me. So I asked him a question. You really have worked incredibly hard, but all you've talked about so far is yourself and what you've done. Didn't it ever happen that a colleague or a subordinate showed pleasure at what you did or expressed gratitude? Were you always the only one who was pleased? I was afraid he would get mad, so I stole a glance at the expression on his face. With a wry smile, he admitted, You're right. That's why I feel so lonely, I guess. In Buddhism, the state of being concerned only about yourself is called gari gari, benefiting oneself alone. A person in that state is said to be a very unfortunate person. My advantage, my advantage. Such a person thinks only of themselves and does not care at all about others. He or she may be blessed with an abundance of material goods, but they will end up alone and lonely. The reason is that no one wants to stay alongside someone who thinks only of themselves. Everybody moves away from them, and since in their hearts there is only themselves, they end up alone and lonely no matter how many subordinates or colleagues surround them. How then can we make sure that our hearts will find contentment? Shakyamuni Buddha teaches one who thinks only of himself will always end up alone. Be concerned, therefore, for the happiness of those around you. If you do that, your heart will find contentment. Let's try to consider at least a little more than we usually do the success and happiness of family, friends, and coworkers. If you have an image in your mind and heart of your family and friends being joyful, then even when you are alone, your mind and heart will be filled to overflowing with their smiling faces. Okay, yeah, this was today's story, and what a beautiful ending. This is talking about kind of purifying the karma of the mind. So, on our own, because we have a lot of blind passions, like we learned from Estefania in the Right View Lab on Monday. So, this kind of blind passions at force, they bring these kind of desires or anger and resentment to the mind, and it creates our suffering. So if you understand, if you have awareness of that, then all we have to do is the antidote, like Estefania explained, is like the antidote to desires and being greedy is giving to others, being generous, forgetting about ourselves, putting emphasis on others. The antidote for anger becomes patience, and the antidote to resentment is practicing wisdom. So in this case, they talked about have an image in your mind and heart of your family and friends being joyful. Even if they're not happy right now, what can we do for them to see them more happy, to see them smile more? And in this way, our heart becomes filled to overflowing with their smiling faces. And I found out actually a lot of times, maybe when our family members or friends talk about their success in life, maybe if our values are so different, like, let's say they're kind of materialistic or something, so their success is all about how much money they made or they got promotion at work. And if we are a little bit less materialistic, maybe in our mind, unknowingly, we are judging them and then we don't celebrate their successes with them. Even if our values are different, if we always remember they're late bloomers and early bloomers, people have their own journey in life, their own spiritual journey. So let's celebrate their successes, whatever it could be. And gradually, as they practice more giving, they will come towards true happiness also. And then we can truly celebrate everything together as we become more and more like minded. So good job, everyone, for being here. Today's Wednesday. We're going to have the Karma Lab at 5 p.m. And most likely Lee is going to host it for us. And have a beautiful Wednesday. Goodbye.